In this video, you're going to be looking at how to find percents for markups and discounts and percent of change using two numerical amounts. Neither of them are percent, so you're going to be going from a smaller number to a larger number for percent increase or markup, and then a larger number to a smaller number for percent decrease or discount. So when you read these problems, what you're going to notice is that instead of having a dollar amount and a percent and being asked to find the amount in dollars of a markup or the amount of dollars in a discount, you're going to be given two dollar amounts. So you're going to be given the starting amount and the ending amount, and you're going to be asked by what percent the original amount changed by. So in order to do that, you're going to find the amount of change, which is the amount that the original changed by. So if Matt buys a football for $10 and sells it for $15, the amount that the original changed by is 5. The original amount is how much he bought it for at first before he sells it, which is 10. And you're trying to find the percent, so that becomes our x over 100. Now, most of us can look at 5 over 10 and be like, okay, I know for a fact that's 50%, and I'm done with the problem. Fine. But no matter what the fraction is, if it's not as familiar as 5 over 10, no matter what the fraction is, you can still go ahead and do your cross multiplication and then isolate the variable. And you're going to end up getting x equals 50, and because it's asking for percent, you're going to put a percent sign. So it's really important that we identify the formula, which is the amount that something changed by over the original amount equals the percent over 100. So now if we use this formula for the same idea, but instead of a dollar amount, we're talking about just plain percent of change. So Ari has 20 M&Ms before he gets a whole bunch. So the M&M fairy comes and drops a bunch off. And in the end, he has 50 M&Ms. So his amount of change is 50 minus 20, or 30 M&Ms. So he started with 20. He ended with 50. So the amount of change is 30, and his original amount was 20. And now you're going to do x over 100. So if you're looking at this, I hope you're recognizing that his amount changed by more than he had, which would mean that it's going to result in a percent greater than 100 because it's changing by more than the original. If that doesn't make sense to you, do some cross multiplication and then do some division, and you're going to end up getting x equals 150%. So that makes sense because Ari's amount changed by greater than 100% because it changed by more than the original 20 that he had. He ended up with 30 more, and so the amount of change 30 over the original 20 is going to give us 150% change. We're back to dollars, except now instead of a markup, which starts at a smaller dollar amount than it ends at, it's going to be a discount. So Inez buys a shirt that was originally $40 on sale for $30. So Inez's shirt started at a more expensive price than it ended, so it's a discount. And we want to know the percent discount. So we're going to find the discount in dollars, otherwise known as the change in the amount, which is $10. It's the 40 minus the 30. And we have to put it over $40 because that's the original price of the shirt. We do x over 100. Again, you could recognize that 10 over 40 is 25% because it reduces to 1/4. If you don't, you do cross multiplication and division, and you end up with x equals 25%. So again, change over original equals x over 100. So this includes percent markup, percent of change, percent discount. So the percent of change that we've already done was a percent increase because Ari went from 20 Skittles to 50 Skittles, so or M&Ms, so his M&Ms increased. Now Julia is going from 80 Skittles to 30 Skittles. So her amount of Skittles is changing by 50 Skittles, and the original amount of Skittles is 80. And to find percent of change, we do x over 100 because percent of change is finding a percent based on the amount that an amount changed by. And when we do our cross multiplication and our division, we end up getting that x would be 62.5%. So Julie's amount of Skittles changed by 62.5%. which should make sense to us because if she went from 80 to 40, it would be a 50% decrease or 50% change. And if she's going from 80 to 30, it has to be a greater decrease than 50%, and it's 62.5%. So the reason I'm modeling for you this Francis problem is because it seems to be the trickiest type of problem. Because a lot of us will read this problem and go, ooh, I see $2 amounts. Let me just subtract them, put them over the original, and equals x over 100. Be careful, because sometimes the problem gives you information that includes information about your amount of change. So if Francis has 40 gummy bears before her friends eat 8 of them, this problem is giving you the amount that her gummy bears change by and the original amount of gummy bears. There's no subtraction necessary here, and you have to be well aware of the information that's given to you, because 8 is not her ending amount. She didn't end with 8 gummy bears. Her friends came and ate her gummy bears. 8 of her gummy bears. So Frances's amount started at 40 and ended at 32. That's where the 8 came from. So the 8 is the amount of change. And then to find the percent of change, we would cross multiply. Some of us are looking at 8 over 40 going, hey, that reduces to 1/5, and 1/5 is 20%. Good, if you can figure that out, then you don't have to do this multiplication and division. So again, if you do that, you'd get 20, and that means that Frances's amount of change is 20%, and it's a decrease because it went down. People ate her gummy bears, so you've seen percent markup, which is going from $1 amount to a higher dollar amount. You've seen a percent increase going from one amount of Skittles to another amount of Skittles, or one amount of M&Ms to another amount of M&Ms. You've seen a percent decrease. You've seen a percent discount. And all of these are a type of what we call percent of change, where we take the change, we put it over the original, equals percent over 100.